Hello, fight fans. Thanks for joining us at MMA Insider. Before we get rolling with today's news, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. Now let's uncover the latest happenings in MMA. Starting off, Israel Adesanya breaks down in tears at UFC 305 press conference before Dricus Du Plessis fight. Moving on, Dricus Du Plessis responds to bizarre Israel Adesanya tweet comparing male genitalia. Next, UFC CEO Dana White explains why Paddy Pimblett reminds him of a young Conor McGregor. Lastly, Michael Chandler reacts to Conor McGregor's UFC return being delayed. The former middleweight champion who challenges rival Du Plessis on Saturday quickly exited the stage. Israel Adesanya tearfully took umbrage with a claim by his opponent Dricus Du Plessis on Friday, ahead of the pair's UFC 305 main event. On Saturday, former two-time champion Adesanya will challenge Du Plessis for the middleweight title in Perth, Australia, as they look to settle a year-long grudge. That grudge began when Du Plessis vowed to become the first real African UFC champion. The South African clarified that he meant the first not only to have been born in Africa, but also to have trained there throughout his career. Adesanya, born in Nigeria and representing New Zealand, took issue with that claim last summer in a heated face-to-face. And on Friday, the matter arose again at the UFC 305 pre-fight press conference. Here is what he said. He touched a subject there because I do this for my family. I do this for the people I love, and I'll fight for you forever. I swear to God. Watch this. Look, I'm a human being. I'm a man. I can cry and whoop your ass at the same time. I feel the love from the crowd. First time I fought here was UFC 221. That was February 2018. That was me making my dream come true. Sunday, I'm gonna kill your dream. I want to kill your dreams. Adesanya then wiped tears from his eyes and quickly exited the stage before returning for his face-off with Du Plessis. Earlier in the press conference, Adesanya was asked whether he will bring the title back to Nigeria if he wins this weekend. The audience member asking the question also said someone had made the fight about culture. Du Plessis acknowledged that comment before Adesanya interjected, "Bro, shut the up, you don't even know anything about my story. You have no idea who the Again, fighting back tears, the former champion said, "My father and myself had to wake up at 4 a.m. and clean the banks while my mom studied to be a nurse. You don't know my story. I will show you who you are Sunday, so right now, shut the Du Plessis hit back. "The first residing African champion. You can't change that. Impossible. You can't change those facts." What are your thoughts on the upcoming fight between Israel Adesanya and Dricus Du Plessis? Who do you think has the edge and will come out on top? Share your predictions and opinions in the comments below. UFC middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis raised his eyebrows at Israel Adesanya's questionable pre-fight mental warfare. Du Plessis will make his first middleweight title defense against Adesanya this Saturday at UFC 305 in Perth, Australia. He returns to the octagon after earning the belt by defeating Sean Strickland at UFC 297 back in January. Adesanya returns to the cage after nearly a full year away from the octagon, stemming from his loss to Strickland at UFC 293. Ahead of UFC 305, bad blood has boiled between himself and Du Plessis. UFC 305 Fight Week is underway in Perth, and the pre-fight mental warfare between the two sides has intensified ahead of fight night. But things took a strange turn on social media on Tuesday. Adesanya took an unusual approach to pre-fight trash talk, which you can view below. Good morning, everyone, except Dricus Du Plessis. During a recent interview, Du Plessis responded to Adesanya's tweet. Here is what he said. "Oh wow, okay, well, woof, woof. What a weird thing to do. I'll just ask him, what's that out? Was he talking about size? Take it as you may." Du Plessis could potentially bring up the odd social media post during the UFC 305 pre-fight press conference. It's expected to be another entertaining verbal back and forth between the two top middleweights. Du Plessis is entering enemy territory against Adesanya, who will likely have a large, vocal fan base in Perth. But he seems undeterred by the potentially hostile environment he's in this week. Du Plessis' rise to the UFC middleweight title included recent wins over Robert Whittaker, Derek Brunson, and Darren Till. His victory over Whittaker at UFC 290 preceded a heated altercation with Adesanya in the middle of the octagon. If Du Plessis defeats Adesanya this weekend, he'll firmly rein in a new era in the UFC middleweight division and get the last laugh against Adesanya after their odd back and forths. UFC CEO Dana White has explained why Paddy Pimblett genuinely reminds him of a young Conor McGregor. As we know, Paddy Pimblett is a star on the rise in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. While everyone continues to wait for him to falter, he's only getting better. Of course, nobody knows just how far he can go, but that's part of the fun. Someone else who was quick to rise up through the ranks was Conor McGregor. The Irish sensation was able to put together an incredible run that eventually saw him become a two-weight world champion in the promotion. promotion. In a recent interview, Dana White explained the similarities he sees between both men. Here's what he said. "He reminds me of Conor when Conor first started, because everybody said, oh, Conor's not that good, all the hype and this and that, and they just keep sticking it to everybody every time they fight. Paddy is one of those guys, everybody keeps doubting him, everybody keeps saying he's not good, people keep calling him out and wanting to fight him. Then to go in and do what he did to Bobby Green, it's hard to say that Paddy isn't the real deal. He's fun, he's entertaining, and he's a tough kid. Many fans and pundits don't believe Paddy can go on to compete for a world title. Of course, that's exactly the kind of line he'll use to motivate himself even further. Do you believe we will see Paddy Pimblett reach a level that is anywhere near Conor McGregor? Will he ever fight for a world championship in the UFC? UFC lightweight contender Michael Chandler is seemingly moving on from Conor McGregor. Chandler and McGregor were set to clash in late June in Las Vegas. The two were set to headline UFC 303, but as many fans are aware, the fight didn't happen. Over 2 weeks from fight day, Conor McGregor withdrew from his long-awaited return due to a broken toe. Quickly, Michael Chandler was also pulled from the card. Since then, Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler have been vocal about rebooking their fight. While there were some brief discussions about headlining UFC 306 at the Las Vegas Sphere, those didn't come to fruition. Instead, the two began to target UFC 310 in December. For a few weeks, Dana White seemed interested but non-committal to the idea. However, everything changed last night. At the Contender Series post-fight press conference, White stated that Conor McGregor wouldn't be fighting at all in 2024. That quickly led to a lengthy post from the Irishman slamming that decision, but the post was quickly deleted. However, Michael Chandler has already responded. On X, Michael Chandler responded to Conor McGregor's deleted post, stating that the sport has moved on without him. The former Bellator lightweight champion added that Conor has overplayed his hand and that he's no longer important to the sport or the UFC. With that, it seems clear that the lightweight contender is moving on from the Irishman. Michael Chandler himself said so earlier this month, and Conor McGregor also seemed receptive to getting a new opponent. However, this is far from the first time that the two have shown interest in facing other opponents. After the UFC 303 cancellation, Michael Chandler called for a BMF clash with Max Holloway. However, Holloway was later booked opposite Ilia Topuria for Abu Dhabi in October. In recent weeks, Chandler has instead shown interest in a potential rematch against Charles Oliveira. As of now, Oliveira remains unbooked. What do you make of this UFC news? Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Your dedication and support fuel our passion to bring you the latest and greatest in the MMA world. If you enjoyed today's news, please give us a thumbs up and share it with fellow MMA fans. Remember to subscribe to stay in the loop with daily MMA updates. We've got a lot of exciting news, interviews, and analysis coming your way every single day. Your engagement helps us grow and serve the MMA community even better. Once again, thank you for being an integral part of our daily MMA journey.